Hi, I'm Shannon from Organizational Learning and Talent Development, and I've been thinking a lot lately about how many leaders across our nation are managing remote teams during constant change and uncertainty. And if you're leading remote teams, you might be wondering how to keep your employees engaged so that they can deliver outcomes and results for your organization. In high-performing organizations such as Henrico County, leaders are encouraged to create an environment where employees perform well, and they also have a connection to their work and their organization. So, how do you create an environment of engagement? Well, today I want to share 6 drivers of engagement and strategies that you can implement if you are leading or managing remote teams. The first driver of engagement is making a difference. So employees want to perform well and they want work that's exciting and meaningful and challenging. And this requires good performance management strategies on the part of leaders. So to help employees perform well, schedule frequent meetings with them to provide open and honest feedback on their performance and also to manage their performance. It's a great way to strengthen relationships with your employees, and it also fosters collaboration and trust. Another strategy is to schedule engagement meetings with your employees. It's a great way for you to get feedback from your employees and input on their work and their goals, and it also allows you to prioritize work around their goals. Now below this video, I've included a link to a tip sheet that will help you to initiate engagement meetings with those employees. The second driver of engagement is career growth and opportunities for development. And you might find it challenging right now to do that, especially if you are managing multiple responsibilities. However, employee development is critical to help employees to stay engaged and motivated. And one cost-effective way of doing this is through stretch assignments. Stretch assignments are temporary learning opportunities that typically fall outside of an employee's typical job responsibilities, and it helps to benefit them professionally, and it also helps them to gain new skills. So encouraging or supporting an employee to volunteer to lead a committee or putting them in a position to lead an important project. Those are great examples of stretch assignments, and you can do it remotely. Now, you'll want to collaborate with your employees to identify stretch assignments that will help to support your goals, but also giving them the opportunity to learn more about the organization. And now learning new skills does take time, so you'll want to give your employees the flexibility to learn new skills and schedule time to give them feedback to help them grow. For additional information about stretch assignments, I encourage you to check out a video in the link below on upskilling. The third driver of engagement is having a great boss and satisfaction with leadership. Now, there are a few practices that you can implement while working remotely to foster employee development in this area. And the first is empathy. So during stressful times, employees might feel anxious or uncertain about their current situation and wondering how it's going to impact their work. Acknowledge the concerns of your employees and then listen to gain a better understanding of what they might need to perform their job. It's a great way to help them to feel heard and to stay engaged. Communication is also key. So communicating consistently and regularly with your employees will help them to best understand your expectations and to feel supported by leadership. My colleague Nancy shares additional tips for communicating with employees while working remotely, and there's a link to that video below, so I do encourage you to check that out. Now, if you have new employees on your team, one engagement strategy is to plan virtual connection meetings to get to know your employees and help them to get up to speed on their jobs. This is going to create a positive impression of your leadership and your organization. The fourth driver of engagement is focusing on teamwork. And one way to help foster teamwork while working remotely is to assign a team project to help your employees stay connected, and also rotating roles so that your employees take turns assuming leadership roles. Another strategy is to encourage your employees to schedule coffee dates or virtual connection meetings after hours so that they're staying connected to each other. And if you have someone new who's on your team, encourage your seasoned employees to reach out to that individual so that they can get to know them and help them to understand the business of your organization. The fifth driver of engagement is feeling connected and recognized and valued. This could be as simple as a verbal acknowledgement or recognition for an employee's work contributions, and you can find creative ways to do this. So for example, sending a digital e-card or an email expressing your thanks are simple ways that you can do that. And if there are accomplishments that deserve recognition, be sure to provide that positive feedback right away and acknowledge that employees to make your recognition more meaningful and also to share your appreciation in team meetings and emails. The last driver of engagement is pride in organization, mission, and services. So employees, they want to understand the greater purpose of their work, and you can support them by sharing the impact of their work on the organization. And if you work for Henrico County, you might share examples of how their work aligns with the Henrico Way and what the organization's mission is of providing excellent services to colleagues and citizens. Now, often for an employee to be engaged, only one or two of these drivers needs to be present. But by focusing on these engagement drivers and strategies, you can create an environment that leads to a workforce of high performers who are motivated to perform excellent work.